Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Doug Show. My name's Doug Cunnington. This is the live stream. We're going to talk about the Google March Core update. And welcome back. I've had a little bit of a illness. I was sick for a couple weeks and lost my voice pretty much. I didn't quite lose it, but it was really damn close. So I decided, hey, I'm going to not do live streams and I'm just going to take it easy, let my voice rest. And that was a good move. I had about 2 weeks of just not feeling that great. So anyway, here we are. Last week, I guess it was last Tuesday, Google announced they were rolling out a couple, big core updates all at once. It's going to take a month to roll out, and we'll talk a little bit about it. I mean, fact is, a lot of people are creating content about the core update. We don't know what's going on, right? We don't have enough results. I'll give a little recap, and part of this is just we're going to talk about the people that are talking about the update, but it's very interesting. This is definitely a big one. So we got a few people on. Let me know if you could hear me. Marcus, what's going on? Good to see you. Oh, David's on, and other David as well. Good to see you both out here. David Miles says, always like a good, fun Google update. Yeah, they rolled out a big one this time, and David is Goldstein, one of our kind moderators. So yeah, good to see y'all, and yeah, we'll just chat today. The other thing is I'm gonna try to just be closer to the microphone and not talk as loud, which the volume should be fine, but it'll sound more like an NPR style. We'll see how it goes. If it gets annoying, let me know. One other thing, so we're going to go over the actual update. We'll read some of the stuff that Google actually put out. And then the other thing that I have found interesting as a avid YouTube consumer and creator, there's just so many people talking about the update. And again, we really don't know what's going to happen. So one of the funny ones that I saw, not funny, but for insiders, we know that it's going to take, in this case, about a month for the update to roll out. We're only 1 week in. We haven't really seen much. And the thing is, there are already people saying, oh, here's how you could publish AI content after the March 2024 update, which is just preposterous. And when you start seeing that, it's just like, oh, these people, they obviously don't know what they're talking about. And either they are naive and they don't know that they don't know, or they're intentionally misleading their viewers, which is obviously worse. So anyway, I'm here to tell you, I don't know what's going on. We're just watching and observing, and hopefully your stuff wasn't impacted too much. But just a sneak peek here, you can see I just searched for Google Core Update 2024 over here on YouTube, and you have a crash and burn. You have these are getting a lot of views, and I find it interesting. Everyone likes to see a car crash or train wreck or whatever, and I'm going to have some live streams with some folks on. I need to connect with Julian here. We've been in contact, but we haven't been able to. I think we're in vastly different time zones, and then I was sick. So anyway, I need to connect with him. I actually have an interview with Ricky that I recorded a couple weeks ago. I have a new podcast coming out, so I will be telling everyone more and more about it. I need to make sure I've secured all the various accounts that I need to, by the way. But anyway, some of the interviews that I've done, they're a week old, but they're already out of date because we're I wonder when a new update's coming out. So it's one of those things where I'm all right, I'm just going to launch the show a little bit earlier than I was planning. And I have not yet connected with Lily, but I'm hopefully going to get her on the channel. And then again, there's just like more and more, and I need to catch up with Nathan as well. So there's just like all this information. Hopefully I can get Charles on too. So people are just like recording stuff, talking about things, and sometimes there's a little bit more information, but generally we don't know what to do yet. We have to wait until the algorithm is finished, the update is actually finished. So the big takeaway that we've seen, and I think if you're watching this, you've probably seen some of these other videos, so I'm not going to obviously rehash everything, but there are a couple big moving parts to the update. It's going to take longer than normal to roll out, and one of the big things is all the manual penalties that were handed out to a lot of the content creators, but I think it was a lot more widespread than that. And David mentions AI here. He says AI is not the problem, but it's the fact that people are always looking for the easy way to win. And that's the thing. Yeah, people are just looking for shortcuts. People are so fucking lazy all the time. And I'm going to go meta. Again, I don't want to have a video where I'm like, oh, here's the update, and then try to tell you what to do. The only thing I can tell you now is just like, you have to wait and see what's going to happen until it's all finished. And then even after that, sometimes you have to wait a little bit longer. So Paul's on too. What's going on, buddy? Thanks. I am feeling much better. I have a speaking engagement coming up this week. And I was like, I got to make sure that I protect my voice. I had to record a lot today. I had to cancel a bunch of interviews last week, and kind of put me behind the 8 ball as far as like recording goes. But I'm going to do my best to rest my voice. And yeah, it's one of those situations where I was like, all I can do is just like be quiet. If I have to talk, don't talk too loud, hence the whispering. But these microphones are pretty good, so should be able to work it out. David says, after being in only marketing since 2002, the best way to make sure your site is safe from the update is to be an amazing website and amazing up-to-date content and good beer. Yeah. Well, one of the things that surprised me. So I have an interview coming out on, let me look at my Trello board, on March 25th. So I have an episode and an interview coming out on March 25th with Matt Giovanisi from Swim Lab, who has been on the show multiple times. He runs Swim University. It's been around for like 15, 16 years, something like that. It's been around for a while. His site was hit in the helpful content update. I haven't talked to him this week. He didn't do any AI content, but the point is he had a strong website with really good content that either he wrote, or at this point it's just like his wife's on the team, his brother's on the team, and there's nobody else. But he had a writer or two for a couple years, I think. But the point is he had really good content. He has a YouTube channel. He has Instagram. He has physical products. He has like all the things that he's supposed to be doing, yet he still got hit with the helpful content update, which is a head scratcher, right? I don't know why he was hit. Kind of crazy. Any thoughts on that, David? Because I know it's like, oh, do the best you can, blah, blah, blah. But at some point it's just like, okay, I'm pretty sure Matt was doing the right stuff. So it's kind of surprising that site. And I've heard other examples too, where sites were caught up in the last couple of years. So manual updates were pretty insane. I think it reminds me of the time I think it was about 2014, private blog networks were very popular. That's the last time I remember a large, widespread number of manual penalties passed out. And I think I had 2 instances where I got manual penalties. So one was probably early in 2014 and the other one was like in the fall of 2014, if memory serves. So it was like a decade ago, right? And a lot of people that were, content creators, bloggers back then were caught up in it, as well as like a lot of the people that were following along with bloggers, which I was a blogger, but I was following along with what other people were teaching in huge, massive set of private blog networks were sort of exposed. They weren't really private. People were sharing them, people were selling links, and the whole thing kind of crumbled, and it was a bit of a churn for a couple years, really. And I think we're seeing that again. So it's hit a lot of people. The big thing that's different now, I think so many people are learning from YouTube versus like blogs. So many people are on YouTube, and we can see like thousands of views. We can see a lot of people like taking action based on, say, bulk AI content. People were like earning a lot of money. So other people are trying to do it. Very low barrier to entry. So the tactic, the strategy was abused on a very wide scale. So Google had to do something. So David mentions, I have a handful of test websites that got hit, but my main site is going strong and growing. Gotcha. Well, and the thing is, many of us had speculated, and again, I have been doing some of these interviews with folks where like the helpful content update didn't seem to surface like the highest quality content, and we ended up with like Reddit results. And those generally people don't want those. As far as I could tell, I haven't talked to anyone who's like, you know what, I want to go over to Reddit and see what those maniacs are talking about. It's only people that are already there. Of course, we have Google paying Reddit for the API access, I believe, but essentially they're partnering together. So we don't envision any kind of change with Reddit. If anything, the partnership with Google and Reddit's even stronger, which blows my mind because it's, I don't know. I feel like it's a wasteland over there, but I've never been a big Reddit reader. Moreover, what I'm hearing is like people are like, all right, it's harder to rank a niche site. Why don't we go try to do affiliate marketing on Reddit? So now there's Reddit affiliate marketing, which ends up creating spam within the platform, and I don't know what they're going to do about that, because that's going to fall apart pretty quick, right? If everyone starts abusing that, then we end up in a similar situation. Oh, and we have Matt Giovanisi on here. We were just talking about you, man. Do you have any updates from the latest update? Anything new going on? By the way, I have your episode scheduled, Matt, on March 25th. So it'll still be a couple weeks, really. All right. So for the people that haven't read the actual core update information and all that stuff, let's go take a quick look. So here's a blog post at blog.google, and it's about search. So they're tackling spammy, low quality content. And you can tell by this image that they mean serious business. And basically, a lot of it was the same old shit. So it's like, we're making algorithmic enhancements to our core ranking systems to ensure we surface the most helpful content on the web and reduce unoriginal content in search results. So that's not really new. And then they have new and improved spam policies. So they want to keep the lowest quality content out of search, like expired websites repurposed as spam repositories by new owners and obituary spam. So in this case, it doesn't really tell us anything. It's the same, right? They want to keep a low quality content out. They do mention expired domains, which we'll come back to in a second. So overall, reducing low quality unoriginal results, nothing new there. Keeping more spam out of your results. Okay, again, nothing new. So scaled content abuse. They never mention AI content specifically, but they talk about automation to generate low quality or unoriginal content at scale. which ironically, if we do look at like Google, I've turned off my SGE, by the way, but so if you want to talk about unoriginal content, like look at any of the AI tools. Like it's literally unoriginal content, but also Google stuff, right? So if you hop over to Gemini, that's unoriginal, right? Where the fuck did they get the information? If you look at SGE, it's literally taken from somewhere else. So it's like, we can do it, but you can't do it, which doesn't quite make sense. All right. And Matt says, my traffic seems to be back. You're only down 9% over last year instead of 50% that you experienced in January. Good. Congratulations. That's the thing. I wasn't sure if sites that were hit by helpful content, if they were actually going to be, moving back up, or what was going to happen. Like we had no visibility on that at all. So that's good to hear. 9% down seems like in spec. So that's very good. Glad to hear that, Matt. We'll have you back on in a few, maybe once all the update is over and all that stuff. Let me see. Can I get this video up here? There we go. All right. So the other couple things. So site reputation abuse. So this is parasite SEO. And the thing that's weird about this, like we've known this is an issue for a while, right? So the thing that's weird about this, essentially what happens, I'll read this out. Sometimes websites have their own great content, and they may also host low quality content provided by third parties with the goal of capitalizing on the hosting site's strong reputation. For example, a third party might publish payday loan reviews on a trusted educational website to gain ranking benefits from the site. Such content ranking highly on search can confuse or mislead visitors who may have vastly different expectations for the content on a given website. So now Google says this, we'll now consider very low value third-party content produced primarily for ranking and without close oversight of a website owner to be spam. We're publishing this policy 2 months in advance of enforcement on May 5th to give site owners time to make changes they need. So I wonder why they're giving sites time. That, I guess maybe they're advertisers or something like that. I'm not sure. If anyone has thoughts on that, let me know. David says, Swim University is a solid website, and I feel some good sites get pinged for manual penalty for no reason. I hope they didn't get hard. Yep. And, good thing it wasn't a manual penalty. It was just the algorithm, I believe, on HCU. Fruit Bat Cat says, it's tough seeing the truly good sites which have been hit, but maybe stating the obvious. The month of updates isn't over yet, so hang tight, I'd say. And Matt says, yeah, I've been in the SEO industry since 2006. I've seen the ups and downs. It's a long game. Hold. Yep. And the thing is, Matt, and I've talked about it some. I mean, I have not been building new sites. I've, gotten out of that area. Like it was less fun anyway. And, after you do something for a little while, it becomes less fun. And I've spent more time like creating podcasts and creating YouTube stuff. I'm still interested in the industry, hence me starting a new SEO podcast, but I'm coming at it a little bit differently. And the thing is, it's so volatile. I don't know how you guys do it. It's so volatile where it's just like all of a sudden your business could be slashed by 50%. Crazy. So site reputation abuse, we're going to see what happens. I've heard a couple people, I don't remember who mentioned this, but I think some people have speculated like Google is telling people, hey, go ahead and make these changes. But it kind of leads you to think like, do they have the ability to do this algorithmically? Are they going to manually penalize like big websites? Are they going to manually penalize maybe the individual pages? Or are they really, I mean, they de-indexed many sites out there. Are they going to like de-index like a giant website and just say, hey, you know what? You guys broke the rules and we're going to enforce it just like we enforce it for small websites? I don't know. I'm not sure what they're going to do. Brad mentions this. Brad Jones says, search traffic from Google isn't a long-term investment anymore. Search is for big brands. The volatility makes it unreliable for long-term growth. Got to diversify. Yeah. Especially in the traffic sources. And Matt says, yeah, that's why I don't have an ad-only or affiliate-only business model depending on everything on search. That's just bad business no matter what industry you're in. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So the other thing is expired domain abuse. And shout out to Otis Global out there, by the way. I will be having Alex Drew, founder, CEO, on the show coming up pretty soon. I don't know if he watches these. I think maybe some folks on the team. But anyway, I've had to reschedule with Alex a couple of times, one due to illness and another scheduling issue. So I apologize to you, Alex, but I'm going to make it up for you. We'll have you on a live stream soon. So occasionally expired domains are purchased and repurposed with the primary intention of boosting search ranking of low quality or unoriginal content. This can mislead users into thinking the new content is part of the older site, which might not be the case. Expired domains that are purchased and repurposed with the intention of boosting search ranking of low quality content is now considered spam. Search helps people with billions of questions every day, but there will always be areas where we can improve. We'll continue to work hard on keeping that low quality content to low levels, showing more information created to help people. Okay. So largely a lot of this is the same. The different parts are the parasite, the site reputation abuse, and the notation for expired domain abuse. They don't mention AI content specifically, but again, they mention, low quality, unoriginal content. I did exchange emails with Alex Drew and say, hey, what did you think of this portion of it? And the thing is, good domains are hard to come by, and people will reuse domains, and that is normal. Or sometimes a domain is not renewed and it does fall off, and maybe the company goes out of business, but it's still valid, and maybe like another company buys them and takes the intellectual property and they continue on, or a company is acquired. Like, using an aged or expired domain isn't inherently bad, and they only talk about low quality or unoriginal content. And that's something that Alex Drew emphasized. So, the business model, or the business overall, there's a lot of stuff going on at Otis Global, but they have a big premium age domain marketplace. And they have other services as well. There's actually a due diligence service they just launched, and a couple other things they can. Well, there's a lot of stuff there. I don't remember all the things they do. But the point is, a large portion of the business is the marketplace. So the thing is, like, it is normal to come up with a name of a company and go look for it, and then it's not available because someone started the company a couple of years ago. They went out of business. You can still use that domain again if you're publishing high quality original content that is completely different than what they're talking about here. So we have Josh in the chat. The thing is, these large VC special interests buy a domain and then they sell space on it to milk you dry. You don't see Nike running John's blog special content for $1,000 like the people who bought, I don't know, Sports Illustrated, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a little crazy. We do have more on the Google Search Central, the Search Central blog. And basically they're talking more about the spam policies. It goes in a little bit more depth here. And here's the part, especially about the expired domain. So it's fine to use an old domain name for a new original site that's designed to serve people first. And you can go a little bit deeper. Again, this is a little bit more detailed. I don't think you'll find anything super prescriptive or particularly helpful, but it's good to go over this stuff if you haven't read through it. We see Jason's on here too. What's going on? Not too much, just kind of running through stuff. The one big thing is Matt Giovanisi's in the chat, or at least he was a few minutes ago, and he mentioned that he's had some recovery over the last few days, which is good for Swim University. Okay. So as I mentioned before, one interesting thing is all the people talking about the update because it's interesting. It's interesting. We they're sharing some information, whatever they have, some anecdotes, their opinions. It's what content creators do. And I will point out WP Eagle, my buddy Alex, I think he's doing a live stream later this week, but I'm going to be away from my office that day. But basically, he's published a blog post and a couple of videos here, so I encourage you to check it out. And he actually, wrote a blog post. He's more of a YouTube creator, but yeah, he's doing more on the blog, so I want to just point it out so people can go check it out. So we have like industry commentary, essentially. But one other thing that I found interesting is, people trying to pivot, especially there were a handful of people that were pushing like bulk AI content, and some of them weren't even pushing bulk AI content, but just general SEO strategies. And they were fairly noisy on some platforms, Twitter, sometimes on YouTube. But what I've seen is people pivoting, and I do find it interesting. I pivoted a couple months ago, right? So I decided to essentially sunset my course. I have to get a cough drop here. Sorry, folks. All right, I'm back. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. I'll have to whisper even more. So, sunset my course teaching, how to build a niche site. And I think, the material was valid all the way through the end of last year. And, some of the core principles are still accurate. I think with AI tools, I specifically decided not to create any specific material on AI, especially like bulk content publishing or anything like that, but not even like using any AI tools. So main reason for that is I didn't know if a specific strategy would be valid for 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years. And it turns out they probably would have been accurate for a few months if I created some AI content, some lessons back in December or so. And the thing is, we now see that it didn't have a very long shelf life. And in fact, if you tried to do bulk publishing, you maybe got caught up with like manual penalties that hose other projects where you weren't even doing any sort of bulk publishing. So I decided, hey, I'm going to sunset my course. So I was like, I'm doing more podcast stuff. I'm going to start another podcast. I think I'm going to launch in like 2 weeks, by the way. So I'll share the name of it very soon. You can sign up for the email list. I need to make sure I get out all the profiles I need to save. But the other thing, I was like, hey, I'm going to try and sell the podcast too. I'm going to build a podcast and then sell it, see what happens. So as I'm working on things that I'm more interested in, it's more fun, number one, but it's also exactly what I'm working on versus like having a course where I haven't built a new site since 2020, right? And I'm not using AI tools to bulk publish. So I'm like, all right, I'm not even going to talk about that. Other people were, and now they're like, oh shit, I spent like whatever, a year talking about this stuff, and now I have to be like, all right, that's not working. Now I'm going to talk about Amazon Influencer, which, by the way, I have an upcoming podcast episode coming out, but some people are shifting to Amazon Influencer. Looks like a fine thing to check out. I interviewed Tony Maritato a couple times. He's been doing it for a bit, but other people are shifting there. It seems like a good way to get started. But let's think about what happened with working with Amazon in the past. Change the commission rates, things get saturated. They're not a great partner. Okay, so how's it going to play out? Amazon Influencer, a lot of people are going to get started. People are having courses on it. Boom. It's going to be harder. Amazon has very strict rules, and people are going to violate the rules by accident. And we've seen it play out before. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Could be very interesting, but good grief. We know what's going to happen already, right? All right. My friends over at Genius Link are on. What's going on? I think they do some Q&As. Check out their channel, folks, by the way. And Kent says, hey, don't sell the Doug Show. Yeah, Kent, I said for a while, like, yeah, my name's in there. Would not sell Niche Site Project, Doug Show, whatever. But I'm older now. I'm wiser. Somebody send me an offer. I'll sell the whole thing. You get I'll give you all the back episodes and you got it. I think it's like a DR60 something. It's legit. I haven't published anything in a while. There's no like weird link stuff going on. It's legit. So I keep the YouTube channel though. That's the thing. I just got my plaque back here, by the way. Fresh new plaque. It's a little too shiny. Can we get it in there? So I'll do an episode coming up on that. There, you got to read that. But yeah, all you have to do is work really hard and publish videos, and then you get it. Also, I ran ads, so that's a secret. Unfortunately, that's it. I will, maybe I'll make the rounds and I'll just tell everyone, just treat it like a game. I didn't even spend that much on the ads. It's all a smoke show, folks. But thank you. Thanks everyone for the congratulations. All right. Genius Link over there. Who's over there? Is it Jesse or is it a member of the team? Is it Austin? I'm going to be doing some work with Genius Link coming up. Good guys and gals there. Okay. Once Amazon Influencer gets all the content they want, rate slashes will come. They keep the rates high to get the content rush. What are people going to do then? Delete content? Yes, exactly. It's like we're going to reach a saturation point, and then, again, we've seen it play out. No one be surprised in, 2 to 3 years, it'll be saturated and whatever. It's fun. It's fun. Do it. All right. Amanda, what's going on? Does everyone here know each other? it's kind of the usual suspects. There's a handful of us. We know Kent and Jason. Oh, and Austin from Genius Link. Austin is we connected a few years ago, and now you're over at Genius Link, and yeah. So Matt's been on the channel. Yeah, so it's the usual suspects here. And Amanda says, does Google send you that? Yep. So when you hit 100,000, you'll get an email, and then you just order it from this company. It came like a couple weeks later, maybe. And yeah, I think they send you a code. You could like order more and put like team members' names on it and stuff like that if you want to. But yeah, it's cool. It's, I've seen it around, and I didn't have my sights set on hitting 100K. I was at about 39,000 in early December. And literally, I'm telling you, this is all I did. I ran some ads on the content promo section, and I spent a few $100, but I think it was less than $1,000. But I encourage you to, test out running ads and see how it works out for you. I have no idea if it worked better for me than other people or what. I have no idea. But that's what I did, and it looked like it was working pretty well. So I just kept doing it, and I tweaked a couple things, but nothing unusual. I largely just kept the defaults, and that was it. I just ran ads. So no secret. I didn't work harder. I didn't have any kind of thumbnail thing, or I didn't change the titles. I haven't done anything different at all. In fact, I've probably done worse, and I care less. Maybe that's the thing that worked. I don't know. But mostly ads. I'm telling you it was the ads. But thanks everyone on that. I didn't think I was going to hit it. Some people are like, yeah, I'm going for 100K. But I always treated this as a top end of the funnel to sell courses. But if I'm not selling the same course, then it's kind of irrelevant. And I've mentioned before that I didn't want to get caught up in the algorithm and create content based on analytics and metrics. Ended up where I'm not wearing a shirt, and I'm like, eating crunchy French fries or something. That's a real thing. Someone knows what I'm talking about, but I wasn't going after like audience capture. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to publish really long interviews where I go off on tangents and I don't get to the fucking point for a really long time. And there's some people that are into that. So I was just like, I'm going to do that. And I've been doing that for like 3.5 years or so. And occasionally I will do a video, and I have experimented with shorter form videos that are scripted where I say what I'm going to say, and then I get out of there. Some of those did perform better, but it wasn't the thing that moved the needle here. So anyway, I think I will still, do a few more of those scripted videos. I actually have several of them sort of noted and ready to go, but I'm going to put them, at least in the short term, on the new podcast, which I still haven't revealed the name. A couple people know, but don't say it. And that'll probably be coming out in a couple weeks. All right. And Marcus says, how come so few of them join live streams? Oh, for the subscribers. So one thing is, I think a lot of the new 60,000 subscribers that started following the channel, they're not highly engaged. So if I don't run ads, and you can look on my channel, if I don't run ads on a specific video, you can see it'll get 300 views, something like that. And that's the thing is, like, I'm not catering the content to a specific sort of keyword or topic area generally, especially at this point. So that's the case. But you can look very specifically and see the individual videos that have, say, less than 1,000 views that I've published in the last 3 months. I have not run ads to them. So if you want to see, like, you can tell. So I'm telling you, you can go and see that. But do experiment with running ads. I don't think YouTube or Google should have an issue with me mentioning that because, run ads on their platform. You can, I think sometimes they say, oh, do you have any questions? Do you need help? Pay them money and, they can get your message out to more people. So hopefully Google likes it that I'm saying that. Oh, great question here. Something you told me before, something flowers, great flowers, something of flowers. All right. Do you think that YouTube may also target channels that continue propagating SEO case studies that may be challenging Google policies? I don't know. That would be a brand new thing. And typically, what we see here, right? There's an update happening. People that are impacted, they're talking about it. They're getting views. People are spending time on the platform. And I believe that Google does want people to spend time on the platform. So in this case, the incentives align. So I don't foresee Google taking action against the channels through YouTube. I think Google taking action against the actual case studies, I think that takes care of what they need to do. Because the thing is, if people do share, if the creators share, hey, I tried to do this thing, I got burned, and my sites are now de-indexed, that is part of the messaging that needs to happen. So when Google handed out manual penalties in 2014, 2015, basically people came out and they were like, oh, I'm not going to do that again. I ran into an issue. And actually there was an article I was thinking of the other day. Let me see if I could find it really quick. I won't mention it. But yeah, if people have questions or observations, let us know, by the way, about like the impact that you've had on your sites out there. Is then like, Marcus, what have you seen? Anyone else out there? Give me 1 second here. I don't think I'll be able to find. I won't be able to find it, but basically, if a bunch of people get penalized or run into an issue, they're probably going to talk about it. A lot of people are talking about it, and they end up telling other people not to do that, which is, again, part of the system overall. And then Marcus says, you deserve more viewers, honestly. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. One of the things that I also don't do is engage a lot in the comments or ask for comments in the video. And it might be part of me just not asking for it. I think that might have a little bit of a role, but if people do leave comments, I don't usually interact too closely. Funny thing, I was watching this. I recorded an episode for my other podcast, Mile High Fi, by the way. We talk about personal finance and financial independence. Highly recommend you all check it out. I'm going to talk about a couple things here. Let me just make a note so that I do not forget. So Mile High Fi, we'll talk about that. So I was recording with Carl earlier, and I was watching a creator. I like watching like camping videos, outdoor stuff, vlog style. So sometimes it's like camper van people, sometimes it's like truck camper folks. They're usually traveling somewhere cool. I like outdoor stuff, right? I like mountains, all that kind of shit. So I was watching this guy, and people are so mean in the comments. And I like this guy. He's a younger dude. He's probably in his late 20s or so, and he's doing a good job. But one of the things about me, I was telling Carl, I was just like, I don't give a fuck. And it's very helpful working online because you have to have thick skin. And I watched this guy's video. He has like a truck camper. Good guy. Sometimes I'm like, oh, why is he doing that? Seems weird. He's been like rebuilding his van. There's like water leaks and stuff. He's been rebuilding his camper, right? So he found another leak, and basically people were just roasting him in the comments. They were like, oh, great. He's going to try and fix it again. He's done this before. He's ran into issues before. But I was telling Carl, I was like, people were so mean. And I read the comments, right? I'm part of the problem. I didn't leave a comment, but I was just like, some of these are too accurate. They're too pointed. They're accurate and they're funny. And if the guy doesn't have thick skin, he could get very depressed by reading these comments because people are like judging him, and they're not talking to him. They're talking like at him. We're like, if your channel's big enough, people will not talk to you. They're like, hey, Doug, blah, blah, blah. They'll like talk to each other and they'll say like, Doug is an idiot, right? And then there's this whole conversation. But the thing is, like, he's doing his thing. He's doing his best to create. And one of the issues, here's why people burn out, especially on YouTube. So his channel grew a lot. I think I started following when he had, say, like 15, 20,000 subscribers. He's like 120,000 now. And he kind of blew up. He had some big videos and stuff. And the problem is he started earning money from it. And you may not know this, but I don't monetize any of these new videos. I monetize, there might be like 10 or 15 that get monetized, and I make like $1.30 per month or something. Basically, I was like, if this is the top end for my funnel, I don't want other ads showing on my channel. I will sell my shit, I'll do my stuff, but I don't want other ads running. So the reason why people burn out, whether they're really big or really small, a lot of times it comes down to your livelihood. And if you're earning money from the channel directly, and you have to keep earning money from the channel, or you got to get a job, or you can't, create truck camper videos, then you're like, oh man, I have to take this seriously. I have to treat it like a job. You have to have your publishing schedule. You have to work with sponsors. You have to do this stuff. And then it's a job. It's not as fun anymore. And you're like, I have to create something good. And you're trying to create what your audience wants. So you're like trying to read the comments, but people are so mean. The guy's he's a nice guy. So the people are so mean to him. And it's, again, I read the comments because some of them were pretty funny, but they were so spot on that I was like, oh man, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt this guy's feelings. And there were positive commenters, but mostly negative because it's the internet. That's what people do. So, Peter Creative says, I'm just here to enjoy the soothing voice of Doug before bedtime. Yeah, huge number of people love to listen to me as they're falling asleep, and I find that empowering. I love that. And I think so that I can continue to rest my voice more, I think I'm just going to talk quieter and get like more, right up into the microphone here. And we'll see how it goes. People will like that. Maybe I'll start an ASMR channel. I'll like lick the microphone and stuff. Anybody into that? All right, Amanda says, I like how your streams are real. Oh, thanks. I'm not catering to trends or what people think. Thanks. Yeah. And the other part with burnout on YouTube is like, if you have more of a persona, then you're like on, and you have to act like that while you're doing a live stream, or you have to act like it when you're doing your show. And that could be really exhausting if it doesn't actually align with who you are. And for me, it's pretty easy because, most of the time, like today, rolled up. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Or it was yesterday. And I scheduled it and I was like, well, everyone else, here I am following the trend, Amanda. So I'm one of the times. But here is the easy part is like, I roll up. I know it's, maybe not going to be a huge number of people, but it's our friends here, right? Like a handful of us know each other, right? And Matt says, not everything should be content. Save some things for yourself to keep sane. Yeah. If you're like trying to capture everything, like I love the idea of like recording a vlog and sharing more of like my day. Cause I like cameras and I like photos and video and even the audio portion of it too. Like if I go on a hike, like you can hear the birds singing or other stuff, or like me walking in the snow. Right. But it is just a huge pain in the ass to record yourself while you're doing something, because it completely fucking ruins exactly what you're working on. and basically, I'll come to the comments in a second. There's some good stuff over there. So I have purposely like not made the channel profitable, and I test. So recently, a company offered me some money to like create a commercial, and I was like, it's not going to convert, but if you want to pay me some money, then we'll see how it goes. It just wasn't a good match. And I published it the other day. So if you want to go look on my channel, but I didn't send it out to subscribers. Maybe it popped up on people's feeds, but occasionally I test this. A couple years ago, a big company was like, hey, we'll pay you some money. And I was like, can you do more than that? And they did. And I was like, it's not going to convert. But they still did. And I think they just had like budget they needed to burn. But anyway, there's an issue if you're like, I have to create this content, and then you're like a slave to your own channel, your own job that you've created for yourself. And then people are mean out there. Marcus says, it's a shame there are so many negative minds on the internet. And this is where like my superpower is like just being able to push it aside and think, those people still watch the content. What's wrong? If they didn't like it, why'd they watch it? It's crazy. Marcus also says there is a market for ASMR, and Jason says that I should partner with my co-host from Mile High Fi and do the ASMR channel together. He can write the vegetable related scripts and I can read. And Marcus says, I need to start a YouTube channel soon, but I don't want to be in the spotlight. And it's really just a mindset. Like, I wonder if you could reframe it so that you're not the spotlight, even though like you will be on the channel. It's something you may have to work on. But I think the thing is, like with podcasting and YouTube, again, I'm telling everyone to like do that. People don't want to do it. They're a little scared. They don't want to be the center of attention. The thing is, you'll improve your communication skills. You'll be able to network really well. I mean, so right now, right? People have known probably for the last year and a half that, a lot of stuff is shifting to video, sometimes audio, but video. And we can see like really like some of the best SEOs in the world. They're like, I need to do more YouTube stuff. And they're like trying to create videos, and they're trying to make the rounds and get out there because they know that's where the attention is shifting. So I would say, even like start. You'll get better the more you do. And the thing is, no one is going to find your videos. In the beginning, no one's going to find it. So you don't even have to be embarrassed about the early stuff. They will find it later. So hopefully you'll improve. So you can go and look at some of the early videos that I did. I mean, they're like 3-4 minutes long. They would take me like 45 minutes to do. It was so scary. And now it's so much easier to just like get the gear ready. You just record on your phone. Like I recorded a podcast episode just on my phone down here in the studio, and the quality was great. Like the audio quality was really good. Pretty amazing. So, and Matt says this is why we converted to a video first content model, script to video to podcast to shorts to article to email. Yep. And Matt, you know, we've talked about this, and I mean, that's pretty much it. Like people can write down the workflow, but that's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing here. And for the new podcast, the new SEO podcast, I will, record video, audio at the same time. And I can use AI tools to distill down a longer narrative that's maybe 45 minutes long into 600 words. And then that is like my own words rephrased in a very refined way in my own words, in my own style. And of course I can go and edit it too, but it'll turn into an email. It'll turn into a blog post. We'll be able to create lead magnets from it. Like everything just can fall out of the video, audio, like beginning. And, you know, of course, like you said, Matt, you script it out depending on your workflow, but that's basically all you need to do. All right. I think, did we cover everything? All right. So I mentioned, I got on a tangent with the burnout and stuff, but, you know, check out Mile High Fi. Again, talk about personal finance. It's more of an advanced, like post financial independence kind of podcast, but you can find some specific episodes that cover some of the entry level thoughts out there. And actually, I'll give a shout out. I don't have a link handy, but maybe someone could put it in the chat. But my buddy, Mark, he launched his new podcast called Mark's Money Mind, and he's actually in the mastermind group that I created for podcasting. And he's launched his show. I think he now has more reviews on his podcast than I do on mine. But the cool part is he has a couple sort of entry level personal finance topics that he's published on his new channel and podcast, so audio or video. And he launched a show, and I mean, I think he's going to do an awesome job. So the main idea I want you to take away, and the reason why I want you to check out Mile High Fi or other personal finance stuff, is a lot of us got started in this for the side hustle and the additional income so that we generally could work for ourselves. But at the end of the day, we really want time freedom. We want to be able to work on the projects that we're interested in, work with the people that we want to work with, and be autonomous, make decisions about those projects and how we do those projects and how much we do on those projects. And when it all comes down to it, like, we just want financial independence so we can do what we want with whoever we want whenever we want to do it. It really doesn't matter like how much like money you're earning if you have enough investments in the background. So this is what I quietly did over the last few years. Buried this at the very end of the podcast. So I was just taking the money that I was earning and investing it in the stock market, index funds, not financial advice, consultant and professionals, all that stuff. This is just my story, but didn't do anything weird. Didn't do anything weird at all. Super conservative, super slow. And it worked out great. It worked out really, really well. So I would encourage people to check that out. And when I have, run across people that have earned like a huge amount of money, sometimes they spend it. Their cash flow is just like flying out the door, right? So anything they earn, they're spending it immediately. And you end up with a situation where you earned like a crazy amount of money. And then you're like, oh, I think I may have to get a job again because my sights are down. And I'm like, what did you do? What did you do with all that money? That's bananas. So anyway, if you find yourself with the problem of like, I don't know how to invest this, like check out some of the FIRE stuff. So Marcus says, is the podcast about the FIRE movement? Yeah. So basically my co-host Carl is like one of the prominent bloggers in the FIRE movement, and he retired a few years ago. And I still work, I still do this stuff here, but basically you you have a lot more freedom, basically. And Marcus says, it sounds like my brother has a good salary, but it's all gone by the end of the month. Right. Yeah. And if you're able just to like save for, and the thing is like, you don't have to have like a huge salary. Like, you just need to save over time. So anyway, check out that stuff. All right. I think that's it. Everybody, thanks for popping in. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't before. Leave a comment. It helps out, especially if you're watching later. And be sure to sign up for the email list. If you're not on there, you can get notifications. There's one, it says get YouTube notifications. Basically, I'll send out an email a few hours before I go live so that you know ahead of time. And then you won't miss it because sometimes YouTube sends them out a little bit late. So that's it. And next week, I haven't lined it up. I'm going to try and get a guest on, and hopefully, there'll be more people, they'll bring people, I'll bring y'all, and then we'll have a good conversation. So thanks everybody. Thanks for popping in. We'll catch you next time.